Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Stargirl. So Stargirl Season 1 is over, with Season 2 set to start around the middle of next year, hopefully, and by the looks of it, they are looking to premiere Season 2 of Stargirl, as well as the new seasons of Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow, around that May or June area next year, roughly around there. Now we are heading into a pretty long dry period with nothing DC related at least airing on TV, which is really weird. You usually get maybe a 2 or 3 month period where there's nothing there, but now it's just gone for ages. It's weird to me, at least. It just feels really weird. But one thing that will keep us relaxed and not running around like wild animals is DC Fandom, which is on the 22nd of August, so that's next weekend. Now, they released their schedule, but specifically for this video, seeing it's Stargirl related, they revealed the details for the Stargirl panel. Now, it will be at 6:45 PM Pacific time in the US, so that's West Coast. But for me in Australia, it's 11:45 AM. So if you're in Australia, there's the time. But if you need to know, just use a time converter and you can figure out when it starts for you for your local time. But here is the description for the panel. DC Stargirl creator / executive producer Geoff joins cast members Breck Bassinger, Amy Smart, Yvette Monreal, Angelica Washington, and Cameron Gelman for a panel full of fun and inside scoop. Join the new Justice Society of America as they dive into that epic showdown and learn a little bit more about each other through some special lenses, and it will go for 35 minutes. That's been my only issue with DC Fandom. If you go to the movies, like the movie panels, they're all like 10 to 20 minutes. There's like no time there. Like if you're looking forward to it for like months and you're getting 10 minutes, it's not a lot. But the TV side of things, you get a good chunk of actual viewing stuff. Like I think the Flash panel goes for like 40, 45 minutes, and I think a lot of the other ones do as well. So the TV side of things, you at least get a decent amount to watch at least, you know what I mean? But anyway, speaking of Geoff Johns, he's the creator and executive producer of the show. He did an interview with TV Line following that Season 1 finale, which I'm sure was just wow to a lot of people. It was wow to me. Yeah, I'm doing Owen Wilson wow because Luke Wilson's in Stargirl. Anyway, we'll go through it. There's some interesting stuff here about the Season 1 stuff. It's transition to the CW for Season 2, and just also the events from Season 2. Some stuff playing off those cliffhangers from Season 1, but also he teases some stuff that is yet to be revealed. So let's dive into it. But of course, let me know your various opinions in the comments section down below throughout this video. What are you looking forward to the most and everything like that. And of course, if you want to enjoy the video, drop a like on it. It takes 2 seconds, helps the channel out. Coming out of the finale, I feel like one of the heaviest moments involved Yolanda, played by Yvette Monreal. She seems to be in a dark place now, clearly having trouble processing that she took a life. Yes, very much so. That's going to be a big part of Season 2, her struggle with that. You see it when they're sitting on the bleachers, you see this relief on Rick's face, you see that he found peace. I love that moment where Courtney says, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Yeah," because there is so much in that "yeah" for him. He's starting to kind of turn a corner, whereas we see Yolanda turning the other way as she is sitting a bit distant from the other kids. She's lost in her own world, thinking about what she has done. That's definitely something that will play a major role going into Season 2. How is she going to deal with what she's done? It's not just, oh, she took out a villain. It's, oh, she killed somebody. Rick was ready to kill someone, and she was not. So that's something that I was saying in my finale review. I was like, surely that's going to be a big thing in Season 2, and that's why they had Yolanda make that decision, whether it was planned, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to kill Henry King Sr. or stuff like that, or it was just in the moment. So that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to seeing play out in Season 2, because as I said in my finale, I would have really hated if Rick killed someone, because that was what he was striving to do, but it also wasn't the right thing to do. So it was good that Rick didn't kill anyone, but I think it's also very interesting that Yolanda did. So I'm just excited to see how that plays out in Season 2. That was a pretty cruel thing you did there, making Yolanda and us think for a second that Henry was back. Were you counting on the fact that fans were quite vested in that character somehow returning? 100%. One of the things we always knew when building the season, and Jake knew this from day one, is that Henry had a finite story. Henry was going to go from this almost unlikable bully to possibly a redeemed hero, and then ultimately die protecting his new friends when facing his father, while also learning a lesson that Courtney imparted on him and apologizing to Yolanda. For us, it was a really beautiful arc, and I sat down with Jake before he signed on and talked about the story, because Jake is such an amazing actor and said this is what his story is throughout the season, and that bit in episode 13 was playing to the superhero trope of nobody ever dies and then subverting it. I can't tell you how many people are like, I hate Brainwave. They like the actor, they like the character, but they hate him. He's kind of become the main villain because of how cold and cruel he is and what he does to his own son. So he wanted to make sure that the payback was fairly vicious. His cruelty came back to him tenfold. The manifesto that Beth came across, was that a misdirect, or was the ISA really looking to brainwash everyone into becoming Green Deal loving supporters of universal healthcare? It's partially true, but there's much more to it that they were going to do, as each one of the villains certainly has their own agenda. We'll see a little bit more of what the surviving villains wanted and want still in Season 2, but yeah, Icicle's view of the world is strange. In his mind, he thinks his POV is perfect, as he says, what if you could cure cancer, but it would take 500,000 lives right now? You have to kill 500,000 people, but cancer is gone forever. Would you do it? I think it's a really interesting question for a villain to pose. So it's actually fairly interesting that they talk about the surviving villains heading into Season 2, because obviously, I said this in my finale as well, review, sorry, that it was obvious that Sportsmaster and Tigress survived, they just knocked them out, and also we saw the Gambler get away. So we know that those three villains, and I guess you would include Cindy in there as well, but in regards to the ISA that we knew in Season 1, Sportsmaster, Tigress, and Gambler survived. But here's the interesting thing. Let's go to the next question. Outside of Brainwave, are there any villain deaths you want to confirm? Oh, I don't want to confirm anything because it's too much fun to leave open. And then it's followed by but Brainwave, definitely, yeah, he's dead. So this is interesting. Geoff Johns is only willing to confirm that Brainwave is the only villain that died. So of course, we saw Dragon King get stabbed in the back by Cindy. There's obviously the debate whether he would be able to, you know, I don't want to say regenerate, but heal quicker because of what happened to him. It's important to remember with Dragon King, he's not invincible, he was just immortal. So he can still die, it's just that if nothing happened to him, he could just keep living. But then the other big thing is, of course, freaking Icicle. We got someone gets smashed into little bits, obliterated by Mike, but maybe there's a chance that he's able to, you know, come back together, maybe melt and then form into a puddle, then regenerate and freeze again. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what they do there. Or maybe that's a little hint to the fact that, well, that Icicle's dead, but there's another Icicle coming and his name's Cameron. So maybe that's what they're hinting at there. Geoff Johns doesn't give stuff away. So he's very mysterious in regards to the storytelling. So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. And the final question here is, as far as the assorted threats you teased for Season 2, you gave us the Shade, Shiv, and Eclipso. Whatever Isaac the Tubateur does next, with or without his mother's leftover violin case, and whomever/whatever Joel McHale is playing in that very final scene. Eclipso is one of my favourite villains in the books, and he's somebody who in the comics actually killed Beth Chappell and Yolanda Montez, and they never came back, until recently. They were dead before I ever got into comics in the 90s, but I brought them back at the end of Doomsday Clock. Eclipso is a really interesting character because he embodies darkness and corruption. The Shade we obviously set up, and there are more characters and other surprises we haven't even hinted at yet for Season 2. So obviously, the first thing, the Eclipso thing with Beth and Yolanda, I would not worry personally. I don't see them killing those two off. I just don't see it happening, because those two, especially Yolanda, were non-entities in the comics. So it wasn't like so heartbreaking when they died. So they were like, I guess you could say they were very expendable, unfortunately. But in the show, they're not expendable at all. We definitely feel the pain if either of them die. And I don't want that to happen, so I don't see that happening. I am interested to see who the other characters and surprises are that we're going to get in Season 2 that aren't even been hinted to yet. We might get a hint at that at the Fandom panel. As I said, there's going to be some inside scoops, so maybe we get a hint at that, or maybe they explain deeper what's going on. But I'd assume maybe one or two more members of the JSA, someone like a Jakeem Thunder, who they have hinted to already though, but maybe like a Jesse Chambers would be really cool. Then again, there's like Jade and Obsidian from the comics, who are very relevant during that Eclipso portion or period in the comics, so they could come, and they're the children of the Alan Scott Green Lantern. So there's a lot of different routes they can go down. The JSA and just that, you know, the golden age of DC Comics and anything attached to that allows you to go down some interesting routes. And very unpredictable ones as well for a lot of readers and a lot of viewers on the show as well. It's not as easy as watching like a show like The Flash or something like that, where you can sort of predict it easily. When you get into this like territory in the comics, it's a bit harder. So I'm very, very interested to see what they do. But seeing that Geoff Johns is in charge, he's pretty much like a walking DC encyclopedia. I'm sure it'll be something that we're not all expecting. So I am incredibly excited. Now, just to add to finish off this like Geoff Johns interview sort of thing, he was asked about like the shift to the CW and how it would change things. The first thing was about whether they'd move to Vancouver. He said no, they're in Atlanta, mainly because all the sets are there. You know, it costs a lot of money to rebuild them or move objects. So why would you do that if you're getting less budget? Because that's going to be the case regardless if it was moved to the CW or not, because it's going to get, you know, all season 2s usually get a drop in budget. But he addressed it clearly in a couple of statements. So this is what he said. Listen, we have an amazing team, an amazing cast, amazing writers, and we're going to deliver the best show possible. Our goal is to deliver a show that is cinematic and different than all the other shows and is of the utmost quality, and we have a lot of talented people to do that. The pacing, the tone, the world, we've already established that, and we have the best VFX house in Zoic Studios. They're not going anywhere. But then he actually addressed like the budget directly. So he said, startup costs are always the most expensive, obviously. The building and testing and a lot of that we've already done. We have some new things to get into, which is exciting, but we wouldn't do season 2 if we didn't think we could make it as good as season 1, but different. We're going to explore a different story, different thematics, different avenues for the characters. We're all working incredibly hard on this because we're so proud of season 1 and we want season 2 to be even better. That's our goal, nothing less. So it's very important that Geoff addressed this because people just started assuming that season 2 is going to be like, oh, it's going from being like $100 million or $200 million like a budget movie to being like an indie movie or something like that. You got to realize Stargirl looks good because of creative choices. Like the CW shows with their budget could do what Stargirl does. It just requires more time, more planning. And sometimes just when you set up a show a certain way, and it's been there since like The Flash since 2014, you don't want to change the manners in which you do it. They could do it, but it requires more time and sometimes it just doesn't fit your schedule to go out of your way and do that. Stargirl has that because it has shorter seasons. Season 2 will still have a shorter season compared to something like The Flash and Supergirl or Batwoman would normally have. So there's not going to be too much issues. And as I said, and as he says there, they've already figured out the process to do everything. So the thing that they might not be able to do is maybe bigger VFX things. But then again, if they have the time to plan it, then they should still be able to do it. So I don't think there's a room to complain until we get a trailer for season 2 and it doesn't look good. If that's the case, then you can complain. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below what you're looking forward to the most in season 2. Are you going to be tuning in to the Stargirl panel at DC Fandom and all of that? And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.